Welcome to yet another podcast at Royal Virtual Podcast or Virtual Podcast Sessions at Royal Music Marketing. Now, I've got a really special guest here with me all the way, Brodie Curtis. Brodie, it is a pleasure having you here. Tell me, how are things going with you?
Things are going good. Things are busy. I'm doing a lot music-wise and business-wise outside of the music. So, just trying to do as much as I can during the day and still during the night. I'll be working through the night and, just trying to make moves, man.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So tell us, viewers, a bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? And, what was that journey from Brodie Curtis to that's Brodie, a successful artist?
So I'm from Massachusetts. I'm from a town called Wilmington, just north of Boston. I was in and out of Boston all of my youth and my adolescence into adulthood. And one thing about where I'm from and that you'll notice with my sound is that it's cold up here and there's seasonal changes, and that's definitely something that I attribute to my music as well. Like, you can feel the different seasons in my songs, whether it's fall, winter, summer, or spring. I like to try to add variety, and as my whole life has been full of variety. I've been making music for 10 years now. I started when I was actually more than that. I started when I was 14, just mixing music, like a DJ would, and I wanted to make my own music. So I got the free version of FL Studio, started plugging around, making some beats. Wasn't cutting it for me. Got my first keyboard and speakers, and I bought Logic Pro. And from then on, I was producing, writing, recording, rapping, singing, engineering.
So, professionally, if someone was to say who Brodie Curtis is he an artist? Is he a sound engineer or a producer maybe?
I would say I'm a creative. I'm a sound connoisseur. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of tell people, is that I've over the last 10 years I've developed skills that have helped me become a well-rounded music artist as a whole. A lot of my songs, or most of my songs, are self-engineered. A lot of my earlier work was all self-produced. All my cover arts are made by me. I'd write everything, record everything. I do it all myself, and after 10 years, I feel like I'm at a level that is professional, you know what I mean? And so when people ask me, who are you? I'm a singer, I'm a producer, I'm a rapper, I'm an all-around creative, you know what I mean? At this point, that's the only way I can put it.
So a pure example of one-man army, I would say. That is, guys, a solid example of what Brodie Curtis is doing. My interaction with Brodie so far has been really unique. In a way, where I was just scrolling through my YouTube, and I just went through a couple of his tracks. I think one was called "Holy Shit," and the other one was called "Credit Boom." I think that is your latest release, and that pretty much got me this is such an amazing track, especially "Holy Shit." The production of it, and even the quality of the mixing and all the instrumental things were so clear. And even though the composition was just so perfect for me. So I think that particular time, I listened to the track almost 3 times. I was impressed by it. So I started searching on Google, okay, so Holy Shit artist's name. And unfortunately, nothing was popping up for me. But I had one of my assistants, look up for Brodie because I wanted to speak to him, and this is how I reached out to him. And right now we're just in the means of working something really big for him, which is, by the way, really, I would say, interesting about Brodie is that all of his songs, in my opinion, are so versatile. Majority of the artists that we work with, they have the same kind of a pattern, but your songs, I wouldn't say that you're following a single genre, do you think?
I would agree. I try not to make 2 songs that sound the same, but at the same time, without compromising, my style at the same time. I like to experiment, but without compromising like my voice. So like when people hear my voice on a song, I want them to know it's me. So like my cadence will be similar, but the arrangement, the style, the melodies, the lyrics, the content will definitely vary and try to paint a bigger picture of like where I'm at, what I'm feeling, and what I'm trying to portray to my fans and to the new listeners who come along.
Mm, definitely, definitely. And like say, I think majority of the times, what genre is something that you like to do the most? Like because majority like your tracks are different. One is different from the other. But like in particular, do you like have a particular genre that you want to maybe do more or get into more depth of it?
At the moment, like I have a lot of unreleased music that taps into the branches of rap, R&B, and even a little bit of pop that are I'm influenced by and that I want to influence. Like I want to expand on these genres. And for the time being, I'm really comfortable with what I've been doing, which is like being as conceptual as possible with my songs. And it's really about like what I connect with in the moment, you know what I mean? So like I'm not necessarily looking to do anything specific. It's more about like what comes fluidly. You know what I mean? I do On that note though, I do love the idea of blending R&B with rap, like R&B choruses, singing melodies, harmonies, vocal stacks, and then like really story punchy rap verses. You know what I mean? And like a perfect song for this would be Aura, like where on the choruses, like especially the last chorus, like I'm like really belting, singing. It's not a rap style, but on the verses, there is definitely like a tie to just like straight up rap. And those are my two biggest influences in terms of music. I would say I listen to them equally outside of my own music. R&B definitely influences my more intuitive side, my like emotions, and then the rap side of me is like how I really deliver the story. You know what I mean? So like my singing is what sets the emotion, and then the rap is what tells the story. And I try to make those blend as seamlessly as possible. But songs like Credit Boom and Holy Shit, those are singles that like I made for where I was at. This is how I'm feeling, and it's also just something to give my fans, the people who are listening currently, while I'm building up my more conceptual songs for what's to come.
Right. And so yeah, I mean, all this, enlightens me a lot more about you, which brings me to a question though. Like, you told me about, the genre that you're mostly falling into and your intentions going on. But, like, I want to rewind back this whole episode a bit. Like, I think my viewers would like to know a bit about, how you came to the music side. Like, what's your come-up story like? And, like, when was that actual time? And how old were you when you actually released your first professional song?
Professional song, that's debatable. But my first song was released in 2016. I was 19 at the time. I would say that was my first professional release that I put on Spotify, Apple Music. Before that, I was on SoundCloud, just putting out whatever I thought I was finished with. But at the same time, I digress. I started music in 2012 or 13. It was right around the end of 2012. I was 14 or 15 years old. I was bored. You know what I mean? I was going to school. I was playing sports, and I was coming home afterwards, and I had no hobbies, nothing. You know what I mean? So I just decided. I was at the time I was listening to a lot of Timbaland, Drake, Travis Scott, Party Next Door, and one thing about, like, for example, Party Next Door, Travis Scott, and Timbaland, a lot of their early music was fully self-produced, fully engineered by them. It was like full all around creativity when it came to their music. And in my head I was like, wow, that is exactly what I want to do. And from that point on, I made it a mission to work on as many skills within music as I possibly could. And that was when I really got into I started producing, making beats. They were terrible at first, absolutely horrendous. And then as time went on, I got more in depth with it, started writing more. I watched a billion YouTube videos, read articles, blogs, interviews, everything I could get my hands on and consume to understand the culture, the business, and the creative side of it. And I mean, to get to where I am now, it took trial and error. It took sleepless nights, 100 mixes later, and I think now I'm at a professional level. I guess what kept me going was knowing that there was always more to learn. There was always more to experience. There's always more to give. You know what I mean? And like, I would say music is a lot of give and take. You know what I mean? Like you have to give what you take. You know what I mean? And like I felt like I had to find a balance of that. And I think where I am now is pretty well balanced, pretty well rounded.
So, like, practically speaking, like, did you have like an inspiration that actually led you to come into this field, like making music and conveying your messages through music, and eventually getting so good at it?
Yeah, in growing up in a small town, nobody cared what you had to say. Nobody listened. I've grew up in a very big family, and I had a very, let's put, chaotic childhood. Let's put it that way. And as like my younger brother had autism, so growing up, like a lot of like the family's attention had to be on him. So I was left to my own accord. You know, like I didn't like, let's say this, I didn't have a curfew because like they just was like, oh, Brodie's gonna be fine, Brodie's doing his thing. And I wanted to feel heard. I wanted to feel like what I had to say was meaningful. And I guess the avenue that I decided to go to like pursue that was music. You know what I mean? Let me take how I feel, what I'm thinking, what I want to convey, and wrap it up into a nice little package for people to listen to. You know what I mean? And that's definitely what got me to create music. And then the influences were like the artists that I mentioned that showed me you can do all of it. You don't need a producer, you don't need an engineer, you don't need a graphic designer if you learn these skills. And that was like something early on that was like my biggest driving factor, was like, I can do this. Like, I don't need other people. And one thing I can say to other artists, anybody upcoming who's watching this, is that it's okay to branch out, to learn, and to improve your music, your sound, your style. But rely on yourself as much as you possibly can, because that is where you're going to find your voice, your sound, your message. And that's how you're going to connect with your fans the most, is by just being as authentic as possible, giving as much of yourself as you can. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. So, like, in this whole, I would say, journey, when your childhood and you're passing through it, and eventually, believing in yourself that you want to adopt this line of music and become an artist and do everything on your own, you must have had some sort of like I would say, creativity process where, say if you want to deliver a message through a song, okay, you want to share one of your experiences. So what actually is your creativity process? Like, do you maybe take a trip to the mountains, or do you just sit in your room? What's up with that?
I mean, I would say influence comes in all shapes and sizes, but one thing for me that I think really like gets my creativity flowing is taking drives, like going for a car ride. And especially early on, Yeah, usually alone. Like when I first got my license, I mean, in Massachusetts, you can get your license at 16 and a half. As soon as I could drive on my own, I would go for late night drives into Boston. Boston's only 15 minutes away from me. And I would just drive through the city late at night. And in Boston, after a certain time, there's nobody out. And so, like, they would be like this, like, cold, empty cityscape that I felt like I could just like pull from, and that really influenced my sound. And that's why earlier on I mentioned like cold, like after dark, like atmosphere to a lot of my music. There will be some songs that stray out of that, but for the most part, a lot of my songs can be attributed to the fact that like where I'm from, like for half of the year, there's not much to do. It's cold outside. You stay inside, or like you stay inside, or you go out and you drive around. Nobody's walking around in the cold, and just having all that empty space would like fill my mind with ideas. You know what I mean? And I would say to this day, when I'm driving is when I come up with my best lyrics. It's when I come up with my best melodies. It's when I come up with my best ideas and concepts. So I would say, and nighttime, and I would say the other, at this point in time, nighttime, I'm like a night owl. My mind really comes to life at night when there's nobody around, because that's when I feel like I'm not influenced by other people, what other people need or want, or what they expect from me, because nobody else is awake. I can be who I really am at night. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, it is actually, quite impressive with you getting to like create a whole song in your mind, like just that instantly. Not a lot of people that I talk to normally, they are not capable of it. So it's like kind of like I would say that you're gifted with this. But yeah, it's good, sharing actual experiences in a song, conveys a good message. And that is what I vouch for. Because like, a lot of songs out there with literally they're meaningless, but they're only being heard on the basis of their melody and that's it. But I personally prefer, like I would say that the power of a song is in its lyrics, like the message that is being conveyed, that has its own power. And obviously, melody plays a good role, but if someone's really listening to the song, wants to understand what, the song is about, it is all in the lyrics. So, like, in this whole time frame, like, you've been independent, but like, have you ever wanted to get signed to a label, or do you plan to stay independent?
If the record deal was made sense, I would definitely, because that would definitely give me a platform. It would give me funds to like continue pushing the concepts that I want to. As an independent, I definitely have full reign on what I do and when I do and how I do it. But there's also limitations on what you can do as an independent artist. So, like if it made sense, I would 100% sign a record deal. But I don't want to get trapped in the music industry machine that, you get put on the shelf, and like an old toy, you just collect dust and you get forgotten, So like I would love to build up my brand, my platform, my fan base, to have leverage to present to a record label. Like, here, this is what I already have done. So if you gave me this, here's where it could be, versus like just make me a superstar, because I'm not looking to, sure, that would be great, but that's not what my goal is. I'm not trying to sell myself out. And to the people who do that, that's fine. All the power to you. That's just not the route that I'm going for. Just because, like, I don't want to stifle my creativity. You know what I mean? To meet a quota, you know? I like to work against the quota.
True. And to be very honest, like it is like, you've got to believe in yourself first of all. This marketing field, all these experiences that I've been having, and some of them are really successful artists now, like Black China or Snoop Dogg and all these people. Like I've noticed one thing that is common between all these big shots. And that is, they're consistent. Okay, they believe in themselves, they're consistent, and they basically convert their names into brands of their own. So like it is simply like if I speak digitally, it's like if I Google Black China or if I Google Dr. Dre, okay, what am I going to see? I'm going to see like the first 2 pages of Google just filled with Dr. Dre. That's it. And started from his website to his range of products to his music to his social media to his musical platforms to his own products to his articles and different blog sites and these kind of things. They actually convert your whole aura, and that is personally from what I believe all these labels and I would say these PR agencies and booking agents are looking for. If you've got like a strong digital fan base, I mean, it does not matter what kind of music is it that you're making. Well, all that matters is that if you've got a good fan following and if people are actually engaging with the content that you're putting out there, that is it. That is my goal with you. Simple as that. So we have just taken this first step, and obviously we're making this podcast to improve the quality of our content as well. Though we are also working on your music as of now, and I mean it's gonna be a long road. But I have good things in mind for you. I really want to see you succeed and be a part of your growth as well. So just this last question before we end this small episode of our podcast. What do you think your fans should expect from
you? That's funny that you asked that because expect nothing but quality. You know what I mean? I don't want you to have an expectation. I don't want you to listen to my next song and say, "Oh, that doesn't sound like Brodie's music," because you'll know it's me when my voice comes on the microphone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the song style is going to be the same or what I'm talking about will be the same, because in one song I could say "holy shit," and another song I could say "I can feel it in your aura, diaspora, girl, let me explore ya." You know what I mean? So I just want people to expect quality, creativity, and honesty, and and just to be in the moment with me. You know what I mean? Be in the moment. Take each song as they are, and I promise when I put out a project, it's gonna be conceptual. It's gonna be a picture that I'm painting for my audience to be a part of. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, you've got me so excited about this. I'm really keen to listen to this new project that's gonna come really soon. And one thing that I think the audiences must expect from Brodie is consistency. He's one of those artists that is loyal to what he does. And the other thing that I observed about you, which is a really positive thing about Brodie, is that he is consistent. If he's loyal, he's consistent. If he says that I'm going to deliver quality in my music, if I'm going to deliver the right message, if I'm going to deliver, amazing content for you, then he's going to do it one way or the other. And that is actually, I would say, the fundamental requirement of any artist who wants to succeed in this world. Because I know a lot of people that are just, making music for fun. I mean, yeah, they want to pursue that career, but it is they make 2-3 songs and they just vanish away. And for maybe the next year or so, they've got nothing, and then they start making more music. So the recognition that you're getting, in my opinion, is the most important thing now. So, we're gonna pretty much wrap it up at that. Brodie, it was such a pleasure having you here on our, literally this is our first episode, so we're gonna be shooting a lot of more podcasts. And there's a long way ahead for you as well. I know this is our first month working together. I'm hoping that you're liking the experience so far.
I am, Melvin. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to explore what's to come with y'all, for real.
Mike, you got our name wrong for the second time. It's Mike.
Oh, sorry. On the bottom it says
my name is
Melvin
Mike,
on the bottom. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But so I mean, this is basically the first episode of our podcast. And Brodie, there's going to be a lot that we're going to talk about, and we are going to give our fans and your audience and our audience a lot of more insights from the marketing perspectives, and we're going to be discussing a lot about your music as well, especially the project that is upcoming, because it is something that I'm personally believing in a lot. Yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. So we have here Brodie Curtis with me, one of the most talented guys that I've met in my entire life, and I'm believing a lot in him, counting a lot. Consistency is the only thing that I require from him, because I know that he's going to produce really good quality for you guys. So below in the description, do follow Brodie Curtis on his Instagram. Go subscribe his YouTube channel, his Spotify, follow him on there as well, all of his platforms. And just press those bell icons that you see so that you get notified about every upload of a new track that he makes. So that is pretty much it, Brodie. Pleasure always having you here. Until next time, you have a good one then.